MLS is back. That's the name of the tournament starting July 8th. 26 teams. World Cup style format. And I'm going to preview it for you because we have now the dates, the times, we had the matchups. Well, we actually have the matchups in order, and we have the networks that are going to be carried on. So let's break this tournament down. I'm excited for it. You should be excited as well. The excitement right now is deferred a bit because of what's going on with COVID. Florida is a hot spot for cases, not a hot spot for hospitalizations or deaths right now, but we don't know. The media puts a lot of scare in you, and in many cases, rightfully so. There was the case of the Orlando Pride. The NWSL having the Challenge Cup in Utah, the Orlando Pride had to pull out because several members of their team got COVID. It would turn out later that several members, younger members, were out getting their party on, which young people are supposed to do, and they got COVID. As I say that, and as I continue with this, I want to take my hat off to all the athletes out there that did it the right way, because it's hard. When you're young, you want to get out. You want to sow your oats, get it going, have a couple sea tails with your friends. By and large, all these young players have done the right thing in European leagues, in NWSL, in MLS. They are taking this seriously, and we are eternally grateful because if enough players didn't, these things wouldn't happen. And I have watched so much soccer lately, 2-3 games a day, and I have loved it. I have enjoyed the race, what Liverpool and Man City are doing in England. We got a race in Italy. We got a race in Spain. It's a lot of fun. And I'm getting to see some of the young players. It's also in Germany, great American players coming through as we talked about in my last Soccer O.G. So I appreciate what you're doing. However, I appreciate what you're doing, but for those who aren't doing it, you're going to be the outliers here, and you've got to be careful. I'm not here to lecture you. I have been far from perfect during this whole pandemic. I was eager to get out. When I had the chance to get out, I was riding my bike. I would go and have a beer maybe at an outdoor patio area. I was probably the first person to get my hair cut when I could. I wasn't waiting around. I still erred on the side of caution for the most part. Now, if we want to be careful, the one thing you cannot do, you cannot go to a nightclub. You cannot go to an enclosed bar and dance and sweat and revel with your friends right now because you're going to get COVID. The Orlando Pride, that's what happened. We saw the footage of Novak Djokovic and his wife. That's what happened. If you're in close quarters, if there's someone there with COVID, a bunch of people are going to get it because it's an incubator in there. So stay out of those places, okay? Enjoy yourself in an outdoor space. Get drunk if you have to, but do it outdoors. It's crazy. We're learning so much every day, but I want to be positive here as we look forward. I'm going to preview this tournament. I'm not going to get into it too much. The schedule, the things that stick out. It starts July 8th, August 11th. We have 7 rivalry games, which is exciting. The sweet spot of the tournament, the round of 16, 4 straight days of doubleheader. Quarterfinals, you have 2 days where you have 4 quarterfinal games. That's going to be the exciting part of the tournament, if you ask me. There are some good games that we're going to keep us engaged. The opener, Orlando Inter Miami, I'm pumped about. You have LAFC, LA Galaxy, 7:30 Pacific time on ESPN. That will be on July 18th. Then we get to the knockouts, which should be a lot of fun. All the games on the national networks. ESPN, FS1, and TUDN, the Univision network. All the games that are on ESPN are generally on ESPN1, not on ESPN2. There's a big difference in that. I worked at ESPN, and sometimes if there was on ESPN2, you're like, ugh. If you're on ESPN, you get all the support. You get the preview, you get the Sports Center leading you in, you get Van Pelt and Taylor Twellman taking you out, and you get people engaged. If I was at ESPN, and I was in charge, I would make my employees, producers, anchors, all watch these games. It's a big deal. Because so often we see people go, oh, it's the rapids and the earthquakes. That can't happen anymore. It's got to be, oh, rapids and earthquakes. I can't wait to see what Matias Almeida has in store. See what that happens? I just got you engaged. So no more playing dumb with soccer. But they got to crack. They don't do that for soccer. They don't do that for MMA at ESPN. They never have. So I tried. It's good to be on ESPN. There's no doubt about it. That'll help those numbers. The teams are getting there, by the way. The earthquakes are already there. The Orlando City is going to get there. and there's going to be a long stay for these teams if you're in Group A, B, or C. If you're in Groups D, E, and F, you're allowed to show up a little bit later, and I think a lot of teams will do that at some point. The days, you'll have games every day, really, for most of July, and it gets broken up a little bit in August. You have a game at 9 a.m. Eastern, then 8 p.m. Eastern, and 10:30. So they're trying to avoid the hot heat in Orlando, and that's a good way to do it. It's going to be tough to see those games on the West Coast at 9 a.m. It's going to be tough to see the 10:30 Eastern time games on the East Coast for folks. But watch as many games as you can. The schedule gives you like 3 games in about 10 days if you want to play. And then those 26 teams make the 16. The group that had 6 teams in it now will get 3 teams definitively into the round of 16. So they're still tinkering with this, which is fine, because this is going to be hopefully the only time we have this tournament. That's why there's more incentive to win it. Who's going to win it? I don't know. You know what? I'm going to pick Sporting Kansas City. I don't know who's going to win. It's impossible to pick. But I will say good coaching, depth, young players. As we've seen in the European leagues, these things have all played off. Some teams show up ready, and some teams just like, huh? Bayern Munich, ready. Real Madrid, ready. Schalke 04, not ready. It's got to be collective, and I think that's coaching. So that bodes well for teams like LAFC and Atlanta United. But I think it's going to be a team that is a little bit off the beaten path. That's why I like Sporting Kansas City. They have all those things. They have a good coach. They have some depth. I think there'll be some dark horse teams. FC Dallas, because of the youth and the good coaching, would be one of them. Philadelphia Union, well coached, deep, good attacking options is another. I would imagine some of the talent, the cream will rise to the top. However, I've seen a little flaw in the tournament. If you get to the quarterfinals, you will play on July 30th, August 1st, which means you've been there to playing-wise, 2.5 weeks. If you win your quarterfinals, you'll have to potentially be there another 10 days. You get $1 million if you win this tournament. You also get a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League. I'm not saying $1 million is not a lot of money. However, some of these clubs can survive, and those 10 days back home, instead of having to be in Orlando 10, may be more valuable than that prize money. I'm not mentioning which clubs there are, but I would think they might be thinking of that. Get to the quarterfinals, they're not going to sit out of this. But those extra 10 days are going to be tough. I think if you get 5 games in this tournament and you head home, you got to be, all right, we're good. Because only one team's winning the $1 million. Only one team's getting the CONCACAF Champions League spot. So once you get back to the quarterfinals, it's still be very interesting if when it gets to that and see which teams remain. I think some of the heavy hitters won't be there at the end. It's just it's built to really inspire some of those clubs that have that $1 million and the spot of CCL within reach. I will close here with what the goal of this tournament is. It's to make MLS a viable TV product, to get when they make the new broadcast agreements, to get the money up. I think it's $90 million, which is not enough. They got to get that up to hit their bottom line, to become a bigger league, a bigger global brand. Will they get more viewers with this tournament? Yes. Will they get enough viewers to make that viable? I don't think so. A lot of it's out of their hands. As I've watched the European leagues, there was a big bump ratings-wise for the Bundesliga because they were first. Hasn't been a big bump for the Premier League. Hasn't been a bump for the Serie A or La Liga. La Liga's on beIN Sport. Not a lot of people get that channel. It hasn't been there. MLS will be here in a little bit. I think the evening games will help, but will that be enough? I will also add that we are at a crossroads for all of us who cover this wonderful sport in this country. Layoffs everywhere. The rights fees and so much that come with this sport are superseding the workforce. So you get layoffs. And the layoffs have been coming over the last few years. Now the news, Turner is ducking out of their Champions League contract, which they could, and just saying, we're done. This isn't good. I get worried. I have a lot of colleagues out there too. I think I'll be all right because I got this. Well, this is not going to keep me all right. But it's food for thought. This is a tough spot for soccer. We've really got to roll up our sleeves and figure it out. Or maybe this is it. Maybe a lot of people in the United States are not going to be soccer fans. Not right now. Maybe in a few years when that next generation comes around. Maybe we do it for them. Subscribe to the Soccer O.G. Let's see you in July.